Don't tell 'em. Show 'em.
Now, let me recommend your attendance to see the smash hit show Burlesque to Broadway, starring the incredibly talented Quinn Lemley and her 4 dynamically passionate girls. This is your chance to immerse yourself on a brilliant night out in the lively and flirtatious music and dance of authentic burlesque, as Quinn Lemley and her girls dazzle us through the origins and story of burlesque, and how it all came to be recognised as one of the entertainment world's most spectacular stage arts. Live Nation brings Burlesque to Broadway to the gorgeous Gramercy Theatre February the 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. Join us for this spectacular night out, this brilliant show right here in the city that loves burlesque. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster or at www.burlesquetobroadway.com. Just click the link here on the Radio Irish Facebook page to purchase your tickets now, and we'll see you at the Gramercy Theatre for this awe-inspiring show. I have seen an intimate producer's showcase of Burlesque to Broadway starring Quinn Lemley and her girls, and I recommend it highly. It's a fun-filled night out with a masterful cast, heart-pounding music, a meaningful story that will have you jumping in your seats and reaching for a Kleenex. Yes, there were a few times during the show that a tear appeared in my eye. And let me tell you, I don't usually weep. But there are some beautiful sentimental moments in the show. And most of all, from everything I enjoyed about Burlesque to Broadway, some seriously brilliant performers, headed up by the ravishingly talented Quinn Lemley, who works this show to the hilt, let me tell you. It's rare to see an actor and singer, as is Quinn, work so hard on stage as she does. Seeing is believing, and we shall see you at the delightful Gramercy Theatre, February the 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. Join us for this spectacular show right here in the city that loves burlesque.
Don't tell 'em. Show 'em.
It's the Radio Irish Music Show with Seán McCarthy. 3 years touring on stage now and going from strength to strength. The smash hit stage musical Burlesque to Broadway, directed by Tony Award winner Joseph Hardy, written by and starring Quinn Lemley, celebrates the golden era of vaudeville, where oversized personalities such as Mae West, Cher, and the Queen of Queens, Miss Gypsy Rose Lee, ruled the world of stage and song with their teasing dances and brassy singing. But before it became the Great American Show, burlesque had its origins in 17th century Italy and France, where it referred to an outlandish imitation of the dignified, a kind of people's version of the grandeur of opera, if you will, where dance and song were performed to a bawdy mix of wit, gag, and naughty bits. The star of Burlesque to Broadway, Quinn Lemley, has received critical acclaim throughout North America, headlining some of the world's most celebrated venues as rated by industry standard Polestar. I particularly enjoyed the sentimental and enlightening storyline that Quinn presents throughout the show of how burlesque came to mean so much to women searching for independence through the ages, and how the art form, which found its origins in 17th century Italian theatre, has truly come of age as a dramatic performance art in a calibre all of its very own over the years. And we're delighted to be speaking with Quinn Lemley. How are you, Quinn?
I'm fabulous, Seán. I'm so excited to be on Radio Irish.
Well, now 3 years touring on stage, Quinn, and going from strength to strength. Your show Burlesque to Broadway celebrates the golden era of vaudeville, where oversized personalities such as Mae West, Cher, and the Queen of Queens, Miss Gypsy Rose Lee, ruled the world of stage and song with their teasing dances and brassy singing. But before it became the Great American Show, Quinn, burlesque had its origins in 17th century Italy and France, and subsequently England, where it referred to an outlandish imitation of the dignified, a kind of people's version of the grandeur of opera, if you will. Tell me, Quinn, what does it mean to you to be spearheading this great revival of the performance art of burlesque in your show, Burlesque to Broadway.
Well, it's just been an absolute delight because we've been able to develop the show in front of a live audience, so we know what works, and we use the elements of burlesque, Broadway, and beyond, which is the early variety shows and reviews that people did that came out of burlesque and vaudeville, and so it's just been a really exciting adventure to create it and to learn about all of these icons that took that journey.
Well, you wrote Burlesque to Broadway, Quinn, which is a great accomplishment in itself. How did the show come together in your mind? What was the spark, I suppose?
Well, I was touring with a show called The Heat Is On, which celebrated the life of Rita Hayworth, and I was playing in performing arts centers with a 12-piece big band, and I was doing it as Rita, and I wanted to create a new show, and I was interested in, I always wondered, what was Gypsy Rose Lee's act like? We know the musical Gypsy, but what was her act like? And so I started reading about Gypsy, and then I started finding all these women like Mae West and Tallulah Bankhead and Fanny Bryce and all of these people that kind of moved in similar circles, and they really made a career for themselves and broke through glass ceilings. And so it was really fun. I read a lot of biographies and saw a lot of, whatever footage I could see and a lot of photographs. And so I pieced it together that way. And of course I had the help of Joe Hardy. He's a mastermind of shaping shows, and he helped, he helped guide me, which was wonderful. And my producer, Paul Horton, has been incredible. I mean, he just comes up with all these ideas, and I'm like, really? Put in Boom Boom, Johnny Lee Hookers, and Boom Boom, and an R&B number? And it was his idea, and it blows down the house on the first act, which is really fun.
Well, much of the show celebrates the work of the great burlesque stars of the bygone era of vaudeville, stars like Mae West and Gypsy Rose Lee. And I learned recently that these women weren't just incredible performers, Quinn, but also had to have a great business mind and a business sensibility too. How involved are you in the business end of Burlesque to Broadway?
Well, I'm a co-producer with Paul Horton, so I'm very involved with it. I enjoy the business end a lot, and I find it interesting, and I'm always learning more and more, and so Paul and I have really put this together and created it out of an idea, which was really interesting because we didn't even know that we knew the concept of the show when we put a poster together and had the orange gown made, and then did a poster and sold the show, and then started writing it, which was kind of a backwards way of doing it, but it was definitely inventive. Like these women, like Mae West, she was an incredible businesswoman.
And what characteristics, if any, from Gypsy Rose Lee have you drawn on, Quinn, for your performance? Well,
Gypsy used her mind, and the tease was in the double entendre and the mind, and being a lady and being very elegant, and so she wasn't bawdy. It was all very refined humor, and so I like to think that I can be a little, have the double entendre, but still I'm an elegant, glamorous performer. So I want my tease to be stimulating, but not overt.
Now you are accompanied by a live 10-piece band as you take us on this magical tour of song and dance and glitz and glamour, with one show-stopping hit after another. Hits like She's a Lady, You Don't Own Me, Boom Boom, Let Me Entertain You. Tell me, what's it like to perform live with an orchestra? Describe the dynamic you have with the musicians, Quinn.
Oh, Sean, it's so exciting. When I'm standing in the wings and the downbeat happens with the overture, every show I get goosebumps. The orchestrations are so amazing. Steve Rollins, who does all the Dolores bits for Bette Midler, did our orchestrations, and they are just so exciting. And W. Brent Sawyer did amazing vocal arrangements. So I'm just so blessed and excited because it's really amazing. And we have such talented musicians on stage with us. We're just really, lucky, and everybody loves the music because there's everything from Irving Berlin to Cole Porter to, Tom Jones and Leslie Gore. I mean, there's really a gamut of musical styles, but it all tells the story of how these women went, from the teens all the way to the contemporary times today.
Now, there are some professional theatre greats involved in Burlesque to Broadway, the production. It's directed by Tony Award winner Joseph Hardy. The choreography is by Meret Muenter. Glamorous costumes by Wendell Goins of Rock of Ages and the show Broadway. Orchestrations by Bette Midler's arranger Steve Rawlings. W. Brent Sawyer of A Chorus Line and Broadway Revival is also involved in the music. Francis Minarick of Xanadu and Broadway The Show, and James Sampler of Legally Blonde and Broadway. Tell me, Quinn, how much of a responsibility is it to hold all that together, seeing as you are the central star in Burlesque to Broadway, and really the buck stops with you when you go on stage? That must be quite a challenge, no?
Well, it is, I guess, if you think of it in that way. But for me, I love connecting with the audience, and there is a lot of interaction with the audience. And my team, we've created this piece that, whether it's through the choreography, Moretta Munter's choreography, or the singing or the jokes that we're telling. It's really fun because the audience is another character. We're not just singing at them or talking at them. We're really engaging them, and it was really, really fun when you got to see our show at the Snapple Theatre. It was very up close and personal because it was scaled down, but it was really fun to be able to do it in front of an audience that close.
Well, look, you're not alone on stage, Quinn. Talk to me about the rapport you have with your girls, both on and off stage.
These women are so fun and funny and talented. I mean, they can sing, they can dance. Their comic timing is wonderful. It's just a joy to do all these corny jokes and these bits that were performed in vaudeville and in burlesque. And usually they're done by the baggy pants comics who are men, and to see three women that are very glammed out do these jokes, it's really kind of a twist. And it's just so much fun to be on stage together. It's hard not to crack up.
Well, do you ever have little quarrels backstage, or is it all fun?
No, it's all fun and very professional, and we have a company that really likes each other and enjoys each other, and it's it's just an absolute joy, and everybody is different. Their talent, everybody has a different talent, so to make the whole, everybody brings their piece up to the pot and creates this wonderful, delicious show.
And what would you say yourself about Burlesque to Broadway to someone who hasn't seen the show, Quinn, if you had to capture the entire show in words?
I would say it's a celebration of women and those who love them by celebrating the icons that went from burlesque to Broadway and beyond through music, dance, and storytelling, and with fabulous music and a 10-piece big band. But it's just a fun, wonderful night out.
Now, through the show, you make reference to the wisdom and love and the great stories that your grandmother passed on to you as a child. Talk to me a little about your grandmother, Quinn. What did you love about her most?
I was so lucky because she was my dad's mom, and she lived in a house behind us. So I was literally across the street from her. So I saw her every day until I was 18, growing up. And she was the one that got me introduced to Rita Hayworth and all the movie stars and Gypsy Rose Lee and all the big band recordings and Sinatra. And we would read their biographies, and we would talk about them, and we would see performances. And she really inspired my taste in music and in glamour and in history, and how these people really influence culture that we have today. And she was really my best friend growing up. I mean, I was so lucky, and she was so elegant. She was from Scotland and England, the family was. So she was just really amazing, a very elegant woman. She loved entertainment and loved all these stories.
Well, you also refer to your parents in the show. and that your father owned a diner in Columbus, Indiana, the Buffeteria, or lovingly known locally as the Buffy, with a big chicken seated up on the roof, I believe. Talk to me a little, Quinn, about your upbringing and those formative years when performance arts was presumably already on your mind.
I came out of the womb singing. I really did. And both of my parents are very theatrical and creative, and my sister's creative. But my parents had a lot of restaurants, and they still have the best catering company in Columbus, Indiana. But the Buffy was it was called the Buffeteria, and it was a combination of a buffet and a cafeteria. And it was really good Southern home-cooked food, and it was mainly chicken and ribs, and everybody from the community. We come from a very interesting town, Columbus, Indiana, of 30,000 people, but it's very international because it's where Cummins Engine Company is headquartered. So we'd have all of these international executives coming to the Buffy, and then we'd have all these rural, local types, like Greasy Bob, he was the local slasher, and, there were all these types that would be there. And so all these people of all walks of life would come to the Buffy and have lunch and dinner. It was really an interesting place. And so I worked there when I was a kid, and I literally grew up there as a kid. So I'd sing to all the customers. That sort of was the beginning of my performance career.
And what's the reaction like when you go back home to Columbus, Indiana, Quinn, now that you're a big star? Do people behave differently around you?
No, it's great because I'm so close to my family, and my family's so part of the community, and it's just like it's just wonderful going home because people know you and know what you're doing, or they want to know what you're doing, and it's just, I love having come from a small town and knowing all the people there. It's wonderful.
And how about the widespread attention you are receiving, Quinn? How do you handle the fame?
Oh, I'm having a ball. I love connecting with people, and so I'm having the time of my life, and I love traveling. So that's been really, really fun.
So talk me through a normal day for you when you are right in the middle of a show. What do you do to prepare?
It's kind of like you go into a different zone. Let's say we go into a town and we're having our setup. I'm usually setting up my dressing room by 10 a.m. and I like sacred time in the theater and feeling the ghosts of the theater and just being able, the girls and I, walk the stage and really try to become a part of that theater because every theater is different. And then usually we have a tech rehearsal and a band rehearsal in the afternoon, and then I'm getting into hair and makeup and dinner, and usually there's a VIP meet and greet before the show, and then I also do a meet and greet after the show. So it's a long day, but it's so much fun, and it's like time is suspended because you're doing what you love to do, and you get to work with I get to work with all these fabulous people and in these fabulous venues.
Now, what's your favourite song to perform in Burlesque to Broadway, Quinn, and why is that your favourite?
Those are two different questions. The most fun is probably Terrific Rainbow and Boom Boom and the fan dance because of they're just so much fun, and they're so prop heavy and just fun and fluffy. But the song that means the most to me is Don't Rain on My Parade, and from Funny Girl. And we closed the first act with that, about how these women really were artists in their own right, and they broke through glass ceilings. And, no matter what, don't let anyone take your dream away from you because, we've all had people say, oh, you can't do this, or you can't do that, or who do you think you are? Or they try to, we've all had those challenges in our lives, and to me, that's about going after your dreams no matter what, in spite of whatever obstacles come up. And so I think that these women became legends doing that, and I hope that I can, and we all can follow our dreams and just go for it.
Talk to me a little about your producer, Paul Horton, who heads up company Century Artists Management Agency. What's it like to work with Paul?
Oh, it is exhilarating. It is so exciting to work with someone who is always, that's not just, booking the show and making things happen, but his ideas and are just so incredible, and he's always pushing me further, and he has made me such a better artist. We've been working together for 7 years, and we did the Rita Hayworth show, and my jazz group has gone to Athens, Greece, like five times over the past 10 years, and and then creating this show, he's the kind of producer, manager that says, well, you have this idea, well, why don't we do this, why don't we do that? And he always thinks bigger than I could even think. And it's not just from like that with me, he's that way with everyone that he works with. He's a dreamer and a doer.
Now, the show has a website. It's www.burlesquetobroadway.com, and you're also very active on Facebook and Twitter. How great of a role does social media play in the company's efforts to promote the show, Quinn?
Social media it's a piece of a huge pie of things that you have to do when you have a business or a show, but I think it's really important, and it's great to connect to the people, and that's a great way that we can connect, and I can connect directly with the people that are following me. And on Twitter, I'm not as good as with Twitter, but Facebook I like, because people can comment and you can post wonderful content, and you really get a reaction from people, and I feel involved, Wherever you are, you can just go on your iPhone and post, and so it's a wonderful tool.
Well, you've been all over the United States and Canada with the show. What's next for Burlesque to Broadway?
Well, we're still doing another North American tour, and we would love to play Europe and South America as well. We would love that.
And tell me, Quinn, of all the shows that you've done so far, has there been anything strange or unusual that has happened either on or off stage during a performance that stands out as maybe a funny bit?
A funny bit. Well, we were in Buffalo last year, and in the second act, I'm very underdressed. I mean, overdressed, but I'm dressed in layers, and I wear a body mic, and we were doing She's a Lady, and all of a sudden the battery on my mic went out, or something went off in the middle of She's a Lady, and the next number was the fan dance, and I had to kind of riff and tell jokes, and the band were changing out my mic, but it was funny because I had all these really dumb jokes that I was telling at sound check just to get the sound right, and the band's like, tell the joke about the mushroom, and it brought down the house, and we didn't miss a beat, and we were able to go on and and the guys played jazz, and I think it brought down the house because people in the audience like to see how you deal with circumstances, but that was really funny. And the other thing that happened on that same trip, we were in our van, because we took the whole band from New York. We were right outside of Buffalo when we got a flat tire. So here we are on the side of the highway, and we put in the Mega Mix. It was a new number, and Moretta Munter, our choreographer, doesn't miss a beat. She has the three of us on the side of the highway practicing, and trucks are going by while our trombonist was changing the tire. It was so funny. We were giving a show literally on the road, on the highway.
Well, it's part of the nature of burlesque, though, isn't it? The wit and the gag. If something goes wrong, you can kind of improvise, really, can't you? Sometimes.
Yes, you're ready for anything.
Well, it's been a great delight to speak with you, Quinn, here on Radio Irish, and thank you for joining us on Radio Irish.
Thank you, Seán. It's been a delight, and I hope people come to our site at burlesquetobroadway.com and sign up to be part of our mailing list and visit us on Facebook so they can come to a show in a city near them, and we can be connected.
Don't tell them. Show them.
Thank you so much, Quinn. What a delight.
Well, I love Radio Irish. Thank you so much.
And what a lovely, absolutely talented and very beautiful actress, singer, dancer, producer, Quinn Lemley there. And don't forget to visit www.burlesquetobroadway.com and make sure you go see the show when it's in your city. America's only Irish station, Radio Irish. Seán McCarthy here. All that chatting has made me very hungry. I think I'll nip off to Columbus, Indiana and go visit the Buffy. The Buffeteria. Sounds delicious. So it does. Yes, indeedy.
Live from New York City, radioirish.com.
I used to be Snow White, but I drifted. 10 cents a dance, that's what they pay me. Gosh, how they weigh me down. I developed a craving for sugar and needed a daddy to take me to the candy store. Yes, my heart belongs to daddy, so I simply couldn't be bad. Yes, my heart belongs to daddy. Da 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 da.
Goodness, what beautiful jewels you have.
Goodness had nothing to do with it. I'm a red hot mama, but you're white and cold. Don't you know your mama has a heart of gold? Butcher, baker, clerk, or grocer, let yourself go. I could see you were a man of distinction, a real big spender, good looking, so refined. Clothes may make the man, all the girl needs is a fan. For a lot of these girls, burlesque gave them the American dream. Hey, everybody, here I am. Hear the horns blow and watch us girls go. Stay for the grand finale after intermission. Tell your friends and their friends too. Come watch us do our dance for you. Don't tell them, show them.
Now, let me recommend your attendance to see the smash hit show Burlesque to Broadway, starring the incredibly talented Quinn Lemley and her 4 dynamically passionate girls. This is your chance to immerse yourself on a brilliant night out in the lively and flirtatious music and dance of authentic burlesque, as Quinn Lemley and her girls dazzle us through the origins and story of burlesque, and how it all came to be recognised as one of the entertainment world's most spectacular stage arts. Live Nation brings Burlesque to Broadway to the gorgeous Gramercy Theatre February the 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. Join us for this spectacular night out, this brilliant show right here in the city that loves burlesque. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster or at www.burlesquetobroadway.com. Just click the link here on the Radio Irish Facebook page to purchase your tickets now, and we'll see you at the Gramercy Theatre for this awe-inspiring show. I have seen an intimate producer's showcase of Burlesque to Broadway starring Quinn Lemley and her girls, and I recommend it highly. It's a fun-filled night out with a masterful cast, heart-pounding music, a meaningful story that will have you jumping in your seats and reaching for a Kleenex. Yes, there were a few times during the show that a tear appeared in my eye. And let me tell you, I don't usually weep. But there are some beautiful sentimental moments in the show. And most of all, from everything I enjoyed about Burlesque to Broadway, some seriously brilliant performers, headed up by the ravishingly talented Quinn Lemley, who works this show to the hilt, let me tell you. It's rare to see an actor and singer, as is Quinn, work so hard on stage as she does. Seeing is believing, and we shall see you at the delightful Gramercy Theatre, February the 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. Join us for this spectacular show right here in the city that loves burlesque.